We're Bison! We are impacted! We're Bison! We're ready to get up! We want to win! Light the fire of power that make us free! We never break down! We want to win! We are impacted! The best team!
Hello and welcome back to episode 52 of Impacted, coming to you live via the Total Nonstop Impact Network on YouTube and Twitch. I'm your host Bison, and today I am joined by Mr. Daily Giggle himself, the Joker, and the man simply known as Steve. Hello fellas, how are we doing today?
I'm good, thank you.
Good, glad to hear that one. And yourself, Steve, how are you, buddy?
Yeah, making good with what we got over here.
Oh yeah. Steve's having a few issues, or he's had his computer gone into be fixed, I guess. And he's coming to us live via his iPad. But he's doing the best he possibly can. So he might not be quite as active in the chat as normal, guys. But bear with him. He's making do. He's doing the best he possibly can.
We got this guy again.
There you go, exactly that. So it's great to have you. It's great to have you here, regardless, mate. It's really, really good. Can I just say a quick hello to the chat? We've already got a few people in there. I think we've got Van Noir, Courtney's turned up, Chris Roberts is already in there, Mark Watkins. Looks like we've got a few newbies in there actually. So well done. Nice to see you guys. Anna or Violet is with us again today. Great to see you, sweetheart. Really good. So we've got a few people already joined us for this. So I'll tell you what. I think the first thing I need to do is let's introduce our special guest for today. He joins us from his most recent performance at Wrestle Carnival Pure. He is the British wrestling showman, the one and only ringmaster himself, Mr. Charles Crowley.
Yes, that is quite the intro. Hello.
Hello, mate. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yes, I'm not bad. I'm not bad. I'm really, really pleased to have you on the show this week. It's been great that you've joined us. I know that we originally booked him for last week, but due to vocal issues, Wrestle Carnival owner, no doubt, Gary Ward stepped in for you. So it's great to have you on the show this week and with full vocal capability, because that's very important.
Absolutely. Thank you. I really am sorry about that. That was quite harrowing because I like to talk and I couldn't. So.
Oh my God, I know exactly where you're coming from, but I really do, and I'm sure the boys can vouch for that too, and of course so can everybody in the chat, I'm sure. Okay, so let's get into a few questions, Charles. Now, basically, for all the wrestling fans who may not know you yet, can you give us an overview of Charles Crowley as a character, and of course, the wrestler?
Well, Charles Crowley, I tell you what, it's always funny when I've been asked this before, as you can imagine, and it's a really hard one to answer because Charles Crowley is incredibly complex to the point where I don't think even Charles Crowley is 100% sure of who Charles Crowley is. Charles Crowley is a trickster, an anarchist, a vagabond. He is a traveler. He doesn't really have a set home. He's been put on this world to entertain, but at the same time, he is very insecure. These insecurities come with the world of entertainment, and he doesn't want to admit it, but he's desperate for that applause, and he'll do whatever it takes to get that applause. And sometimes he'll use his charisma and skills to do that, and sometimes if he feels he needs to be a little bit underhanded, then maybe he'll be a little bit underhanded. But yeah, he's from the carnival. He's a ex-ringmaster. He's a slimy, slithery, scratchy, nasty bastard.
Oh, you and I are going to get along perfectly.
There we go. See, you've made a friend already, Charles. You've only been on the show 2 minutes and you've already made a friend in Joe.
Yes.
Sorted. Now, I know that you're relatively new to being a pro. So you're talking sort of, 2 or 3 years now, with that sort of kind of damn pandemic slowing your progress down. But you seem to really got a grasp on how to work a crowd. Now, when I was at I think it was Wrestle Carnival Honor a month back when we first met, I came over and spoke to you and told you how impressed I was with your work, if you remember. You basically had the crowd kind of basically eating out of the palm of your hand with hatred. Is the showman side of things, does that sort of kind of come naturally to you, would you say?
It doesn't. I would say, you know what? I'm going to say no. I think a lot of people expect me to say yes. I think it probably does now, but back in the day, that certainly wasn't the case. Like I have been training myself to talk in certain ways and the aspects of theater for over like 8 years now. So I've come into this industry with a lot of experience behind me in regards to performance, in regards to acting, in regards to therefore manipulating. So if I want to be a twat, I have a lot of experience as to manipulate people in such a way. Acting can be seen a little bit like a superpower because, you're convincing people of one thing or the other. And that's perfect for Charles Crowley because here he is, all these people, he's got the skills behind him to talk to the people at the back, get their attention and tell them what he wants them to know. Whether that's the truth or not is another story. But certainly that is drilled into me now. And I feel quite comfortable doing that. And I tell you what, I really enjoy that side of it for sure.
Yeah, I have to be honest. I mean, it was the very, very first time that I saw you, and I remember saying to you, you reminded me of somebody else on the British scene a little while ago that I'd seen on an Impact British boot camp, and I remember asking you, and you were like, "Nope, that's definitely not me." But there, I'm going to go back through the Impact Plus app and try and find out who it was that I thought was similar in terms of kind of the type of character they portrayed. But I am going to check that out because I'd be interested to see who I thought was you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but you did straight away from the minute you walked out, you could just feel that the crowd were like, fucking hate this guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's not. For me, I think creating heat like that is a real skill, and I think people don't give credit enough to some of the best heels in the business because they are, you see, oh, I fucking hate so and so because he's such a wanker and all that. And you think you are so sucked in, like he's that good because that's what you think of him. And I sort of kind of the way that the crowd reacted to you literally within minutes of you coming out, just went, oh my God, this kind of heat is insane. Like you don't see that kind of heat all the time. So that was why I was kind of straight away, I was like, man, this guy has got something. He's got something which, more people need to see. And for me, that was what sort of kind of like took my breath away really straight away. I remember coming back and I think I mentioned it to you, Joe, that I went to that Wrestle Carnival show and there was a couple of people that proper stood out for me. What you were one, Alex was another one. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Joe Hendry. Always got to be a big fan of Joe Hendry. The guy's insanely good. Leighton Buzzard, I thought was an incredible talent. And Lion Kid was another one. I'd seen him a little bit, but not massive. Never seen him live. I was well impressed with him. I thought he was really good. So. But you were one of the first people that I actually sent an email to straight off the bat. You and Alex were the first two. I went, I've got to contact these guys. These are the ones I want on the show. So I was super impressed. And I think if people need to sort of kind of like get on YouTube, get on the socials, add Charles to their Twitter. You need to check out some of his videos, check out some of his matches, because he is definitely an impressive guy. We actually, we'll talk about that in a second. I was going to say it would be good to put your Twitter handle in your name, but we'll worry about that in a minute. But having said all of this, it would be cool if you was to give us your thoughts on the current British wrestling scene, as a wrestler yourself.
My thoughts on the current wrestling scene
in the UK, in the British scene.
Ooh, well, that's a good one, because there has been a big shift in the UK scene. A lot of people have gone, a lot of experienced people have gone, and which has opened up the door for a lot of new people to be seen. And I tell you what, that's always a risky time in any area when that happens, because you're like, well, are they gonna be able to hang? We're probably gonna see a lot of new people that can't quite, and all this kind of stuff. But I don't think that's been the case at all. I've been working my way up, and therefore there's been people, alongside me at my level that I've seen so much talent in, and that's why I made the short film "You Are Cordially Invited" during lockdown, because I was like, this is like everyone was going through a really, really hard time for loads and loads of reasons, and I was like, people need to remember who we have, who is still here, and who's coming through. People need to remember these faces and pop for the moment they come on the screen. And then also like, oh, who's this? And that's what I feel like that film did. It was a platform to kind of remind people and show people who's here and who's coming. And I'm very proud of, there were so many people that I could have picked. I could only pick a certain amount due to like COVID restrictions. But I'm very proud of who I did pick and who I went with, because they're all smashing it. People like Big Guns Joe, like he's now getting it everywhere. He's on Rev Pro, he's on Progress, he's smashing it. He's so capable. He's so good. He's one of the hardest workers I have ever met. And there's a lot of people coming through now and showing they can go. So the scene's exciting now. I think there's a lot of new people for people to grab onto and say, whoa, they wouldn't have been seen before. All these experienced people would just there. It's the same old people time and time again, because they're reliable. But guess what? There's so much new talent now, and it's just an eclectic mix as well. So
definitely. I agree totally with that. I totally agree with that. I think the scene is absolutely on fire with some of the talent we've got over here. It's just crazy. And, again, people are just, I think when we had the NXT UK thing going on and basically the scene was completely raped, and people just weren't available to do anything, and it just literally, we had promotions like basically shutting their doors overnight. It was crazy, just a typical WWE thing to do, but still the biggest promotion in the world. Don't want to say too much, but I hate them. No, I don't really. But they literally destroyed the scene at that moment. But I think what we've seen is a massive amount of growth in a quite a short space of time, and now we've got new promotions starting up, like Wrestle Carnival, for instance, where I saw you. Gary's doing a phenomenal job with that. And when you think that that's like only like 2 or 3 shows in, they're getting like 200-300 people through the door, which for a promotion just starting up is pretty impressive. Progress are amazing. Rev Pro, you've got all these amazing talents. You got the Eve, which are smashing it with the female talents at the moment. I'm hoping that Alex wins that international women's title when she gets the opportunity. So there's all these things that are going on at the moment, and there's hello, don't know what's going on there. Is there any noise in the background? Can anybody else hear that, or is that just me?
No, I can hear it too. But
okay, that's a bit weird. So I think it's a really God, that's proper distraction. It's interesting time at the moment for the wrestling scene. So I'm excited. Can I just ask you this? Who was your, shall we say, like wrestling inspiration as you were sort of training and deciding to do that?
Now, are we talking about like in the indie scene, the indie UK scene, like of all time?
Let's say a bit of both. Then let's say the UK scene and also the sort of kind of international scene.
Well, the international. I am an Edge head through and through. Edge is always going to be the one that made me feel things. He's the one that I watched, and I just cared about everything he did, and that kind of set me up to be the kind of performer that I am and the wrestler that I am. Because to me, wrestling is. I want to watch wrestling because I want to care about what's happening to that person in the ring. So therefore, being able to convey my personality to people is a massive deal. And then to back it up with excellent in-ring work is the absolute dream. So I see Edge as one of those. Absolutely. Edge is a big time favorite.
Could not agree more with that one. He was one of my favorites too.
Yeah, he's brilliant. And it's hard to say because obviously he's older now, but he's come back and he feels so fresh. He feels so new. He looks so badass, and like his mic work is through the roof. It's incredible. He's gone and he's trained on that. He's improved. Isn't that bad? Like this legend that everyone should say, "Yeah, you've done it," and he goes, "Yeah, but not quite. Like I've got more to give in a different way." Whoa, like that's incredible. So, that noise is well creepy.
It's well creepy. I'm saying the same thing. Okay, what about a UK? What about a UK talent?
So UK talent's interesting. So when I came into wrestling, I knew nothing about the indie scene. Like I had no idea how it worked, and I was just trying to figure out a way of like. I was like, so where do I go and what do I do to get to what WWE, which was at the time was my goal, because I was very simply like I watch WWE and that's that. That has changed massively. But yeah, there was people like Spike Trevay that I locked onto because he was someone that I saw and I was like, well, okay, this guy's clearly. I get who he is. I understand who he is. Therefore, I want to see him fight because he's presenting himself in such a way that I get it. So therefore, I want to watch him fight. There's lots of people in, black trunks that I don't quite understand who they are very easily. So I'm going to go for people like him.
That sound is very annoying. Oh, have we fixed it? Was it coming from you, Stevie boy? I think we might have fixed it. Fantastic. Okay, good.
Yay.
So, yay. So that's all cool. Now, just for some fun, I do want to sort of kind of bring this one up because a little bird told me that you once made an appearance on a UK TV show called Come Dine With Me.
God, for you.
Can you tell us how that experience came about? And did you use your heel skills to really piss off your guests?
I did, and I tell you what, that was definitely the first time professionally that I ever used my heel skills to piss people off. So I applied for that as a joke, absolutely. So it popped up on a casting site for actors, and I was like, oh. And come down with me, and I was at university at the time, and I applied, and I was like, oh yeah, like I was completely taking the piss, like because I was really into gym at the time, but I had no idea what I was doing with gym. I just loved it, and I was like, yeah, love gym, only eat chicken breast, all this kind of stuff, and I sent it off thinking nothing of it. And they got back to me and they were like, oh, can you answer a few more questions? And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, sure. So I just answered a few more. Again, just thought it was just so like me and my mates were like, no, whatever. And then literally I was sat there on the toilet having a nice poo. And then I got
as you do.
As you do, really enjoying it actually. And then I got a call, and I was like, oh, "Hello," and they were like, "Oh yeah, we want you on Come Dine with Me." Oh, and they were like, "Yeah, next week."
Next week.
Yeah, literally.
Fantastic.
I was like, "Oh, okay," and then they just hung up, and I was just sat there for ages, like, what have I done? I honestly thought I'd ruined my career.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I honestly did, because I was like, "You idiot!" Like, I was like, "Oh, you idiot!" Like, yeah, you're gonna be taken seriously now. And I was like, "Well, you got to bail," and then all this kind of stuff. And then I was like, "No, I can't bail. Like, they've set it all up." Anyway, I went, "No, fine. You know what? I'm gonna enjoy this. I'm gonna go into it. I'm gonna be. I've seen Come Dine with Me. I'm gonna be that one that's well annoying." And they came over and they were like, "So, do you have any ideas for your menu?" And I was like, "Not really. Probably lots of chicken breast." And they were like, "Okay." And then I was like, "And can I wear a sleeveless every day?" And they were like, if you want." And I was like, "Yeah." So I wore a sleeveless. Yeah, literally. Oh, it was all like boom, boom. And I had a protein shaker, and halfway through the meal, I just pull it out and I have like a little sip during someone's meal.
Yeah, I'm going to let you into a little secret. The little birdie that told me was me. I actually watched this show, and I know exactly what you did. And I'll tell you now, it was fantastic. It was brilliant. And I remember the point when they do this bit where they sort of kind of like snooping around the bedrooms and all that kind of stuff. And they found a photograph of you as a professional wrestler, and I remember them making a big old thing about it. I thought it was brilliant, and straight away. I understood what was going on. I understood exactly what you were doing because I'm a wrestling fan, so I got it. And I thought it was good. It was one of the best Come Dine with Me's I've ever seen. And I have to say, I actually watch it on occasion because I love it when they get a bit of beef. You know, when you start getting them slagging each other off and all that. I love all of that, which is why I like wrestling. It was good.
This is how you know I got I got heat well. I got death threats. Death threats. Literally, I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Whoa, you guys need to calm down. Just Come Dine with Me." But there was some lovely insults. I've seen more meat on a chicken nugget. I liked that. That was like a nice soft one. This guy's got a face only a goat would lick. I liked that one. They're two that have stuck with me. But and then they were like, "Oh, this guy's so annoying. I hope he like has a heart attack in the gym." And I was like, "Whoa."
That's a nightmare. But that's the thing. That's when you know you're doing well.
Yeah.
I say this all the time. You know, at the end of the day, if you don't like a heel, then he's obviously doing his job properly. And that's exactly how it's supposed to be. But yeah, no, it was great. So just for a lot of our American listeners and viewers, if you're not sure what Come Dine with Me is, it's basically it's a TV show. I don't know if they've got it in the States, but over here it's a TV show where they get four people. They have a meal in each of their houses, and they sort of kind of vote on who was the best through that night. But also you get all the conversations and the awkwardness of the heel-y stuff and the super nice people and all that kind of stuff. And actually the food generally is shite, but the conversation and the silliness is actually really funny. It's actually quite a funny show. So you need to check it out. I know that a lot of you guys in the States get a lot of the British shows, or you can find it online. Go and check it out. Charles Crowley on Come Dine with Me. It's a very, very funny episode. Anyway, moving on from that, because we've got to get through a little bit bit quicker if we can. This past weekend, you performed at Wrestle Carnival Pure, which featured John Grissom, obviously for Ring of Honor, Jordan Grace from Impact, obviously over here in the UK. Could you give us some insight into that particular show and what were for you? I would imagine your match would be one of those, but other than that.
Wait, what you froze? What was the last part of that question?
Sorry, and what were the highlights for you?
That show, as you can imagine, very mixed from me. I I didn't get to do what I do best. I didn't get to go out there and wrestle because I was screwed. But pushing that aside for now, Jonathan Gresham, Jordan Grace, met both of those two people. They are really good people. They're really, really lovely. Obviously, he's very professional, as you'd expect. I think she's like, I mean, they're both pretty badass, but I've always thought she's well badass. Like she's someone that I think I'm attracted to in the sense that they're the kind of wrestlers that I want to support and I'm drawn into, because she just feels like larger than life. She just feels like there's not many people like her, you know, and you see her and you're like, wow, like she's going to destroy everybody and she's going to smile as she does it. And then, you know, she posts badass videos of her moving insanely heavy weight and she doesn't care what people think. She posted a video of her deadlifting and she like pissed herself. And I was like, this is badass.
I remember that one. That was great. And more recently, it's the bikini weightlifting stuff as well, which is interesting. But interestingly enough, though, you know, British sensation Alex Windsor gets the win over Jordan, though. But it was a hell of a match from what I can gather. What were your thoughts on it?
I was peering through because I was really interested in quite a lot of the matches that day. And I was watching that, and that was awesome. They both smashed it. And there's some especially lovely moments in that match. But Alex is really, really, really like. I saw her at Eve as well. It was my first Eve show I've ever seen. And she came through and she smashed it. So she's on a roll at the moment, big time.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see her win a title. I know that's going to happen fairly soon for her.
Yeah.
Okay, so Joe and Steve. Now that we've sort of kind of smashed through a few questions with Charles, do you have anything for him? I could see Joe rubbing his hands there. What have you got for?
The main one I had has already been answered, and that was the inspiration. And Edge was one of the guys I could immediately link you to. Edge, Jericho, guys like that who really, really are there to piss everybody off. Joe Hendry is another one I can see if he was like a veteran, he'd be someone that I could see was a bit of an influence on you too. So as far as questions and that, I really don't have anything to say apart from just talking to you now. I can see why the audience's reaction is always so, oh god, I hate this guy, you know, because you can see that natural charisma come straight through, and it's just awesome to see.
Thank you. I agree with you. I think, you know, Jericho's a really good shout. And Eddie Guerrero, because he's, you know, he was a fantastic twat. But also you just want to hate the guy. Like you're saying, like to get heat and all that kind of stuff is very different now than it used to be. You can't just say things that are unacceptable, because that's a cheap, easy way of getting heat, and it's not okay. And you can't do that anymore. So you have to change. So you have to be clever. And I just enjoy building things up and giving everything, offering what people want, and then taking it away, and that pleases me.
What about you, Steve?
Great comparison, I must say.
What about Steve? Steve, do you have anything for Charles?
Yeah, well, the one I had was you're obviously known very well for your character and your promo abilities, and you're someone who, you know, if you were to, and you're not, but if you were, say, the worst wrestler in the world, you could easily carry a match simply by, you know, the promo.
By being a twat.
And just being the character that you are. You know, is there anyone, I don't know, maybe in Impact or even anywhere, any specific wrestler that you feel, you know, you could be face to face with him and you could basically have a feud or even just a match at a pay-per-view and it just be a promo match?
That's interesting. So two things. I don't know if I'm like rushed for time or not, but I have two things to answer to that.
Go.
In regards to, like, I mean, a kind of a promo match or that kind of stuff, that's hard to say. In regards to Impact, I'm a big Heath fan. So, like, I would love, because Heath can talk, man. Heath Heath
Yeah.
can do a lot. And you can always be able to see that Heath can do a lot. I would love to have a match with Heath. That would be just phenomenal. But yeah, like absolutely. There's so many people in Ring of Honor. There's like Danhausen. There's so many personalities that would just be such a beautiful clash because they've got all this lovely stuff to give and things to say and ways to say that the fans love, and I won't let them have it, and I'll dance around and be a twat and show that I'm enjoying the fans not getting what they want, and I'm taking it, and it's all thanks to me. I would absolutely love that. But I tell you what, on that note, really quickly, a lot of people do see me as a promo guy, and I understand why. I come in and it's a very obvious strength of mine. I'm aware of it, but stay, keep watching because I can absolutely go. And I'm in now a position where I'm getting opportunities to show that and prove that. And I cannot wait to blow people's minds because I am working my ass off to try and match where my promo abilities are because I've had 8 years of training and I've not had 8 years of training in wrestling. But I am very excited to get the opportunities to, you know, present what I truly am capable of.
Sure.
I got to throw this within. I would love to see you feud. If we're talking Impact, I would love to see you feud with a member of Decay, Crazy Steve.
Oh,
You read my mind.
There is so much to play with there because again, you've got two very complex, layered people,
Characters. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. And there's so many things to pick at and tweak and the mind games, man. I would love.
Even if you throw Rosemary in there occasionally.
I think Steve is an amazing promo guy, and people don't. I think people don't give him enough credit for actually how good he is.
No,
you know, he just to his actions, you know, like, you know, and like the way he sort of kind of comes into the mic and comes into the camera and, you know, all those kind of things, and his laugh is a lot of the stuff that he does is very kind of subtle.
But that's real. That's how
really
that's
clever.
relatable to people. The amount of times you see people like, oh, I don't need to learn how to talk to human beings. They go, on Saturday, 23rd, you, me.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's like a robot. I can't relate to you. But you're like Crazy Steve is talking through his fingers because there's this like, you know, there's purpose. He's thinking and there's a reason why. His brain is ticking. And that's causing him to do this because he's thinking of something. He's thinking of touching something. He leads with his fingers and his body. And that's relatable. That's human. And you're watching that and you're like, man, I don't know what's going on in his head, but I know something's going on in his head. And that's wicked. I love that. Totally agree.
Yeah, I think you guys would be very, very interested in you know, getting some sort of feud to go. I think it'd be really cool. Man, I think I got to be honest. I think that's about all we've got time for today. But it's been awesome having you on the show, and I hope we could do it again sometime in the future. All I can say is Charles Crowley, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you for being patient because of last week, and I've really enjoyed it. So
no worries, buddy. Take care.
See
you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well. Charles Crowley, everyone.
What a legend.
What a fantastic guest. What a fantastic guest. And, you know, that 15-20 minutes turned into half an hour, which I tell you what, that half an hour has just gone past so fast. I'm so glad he stayed a little bit longer. I think we got some great stuff from Charles there. I'm thinking of emailing him now, see if we can do a proper interview. I think that was absolutely fantastic. And I hope everyone goes and checks Charles out. I believe it's at Crowley Carnival. Go check him out. You know, some of his promo stuff is great, but you need to check him out in the ring as well. He's right when he says he can go, because he really can. So go and check out, go and check out that stuff as well. But like I said, he's a great character. He totally knows how to, get that heat from the crowd. Really, really good guy. And I wish him all the best, Charles, all the best for the future. And I hope to see you soon. Right. That said, we do need to move on a little bit. Now, we haven't got much impacted recap of the week because we're going to get straight stuck into Knockouts Knockdown. But I do want to just say one quick thing, and that is all the best to AC Romero. It's been released today that AC is no longer, or has now been properly released from the company. Thank you for everything that you've done for Impact Wrestling. All the best for your future, sunshine. Anything else to add to that, boys?
Nah, just good luck to the guy. Hopefully wherever he goes next, all works out for him.
Yeah,
I agree totally. I've enjoyed watching him on the show. So all the best, buddy, for the future. Also, just want to quickly put this one out there. I don't want to get too deep into it because I'll start beefaloing. But it has been released today that we will be getting a Knockouts tag title match for obviously Decay versus the Inspiration. Like I said, if I get into that one, I'm going to start beefaloing probably for about an hour. So I'm just going to mention that one. It's certainly
for reals.
just been released today. Anyway, let's get stuck in to why we're here tonight. We're here to talk about that fantastic, and I mean absolutely the best Impact Plus special of the year to date, Knockouts Knockdown. Now, the show opened with all the talent in the ring, and Gail announced a 10-bell salute for our beloved departed Daphne. The show was dedicated to all the men and women in professional wrestling who are no longer with us, but I think this is a lovely way to start the show. It was a lovely way to start the show. We then get the first comments from Vader and Mickey to get the show running. We then get Melissa Santos in the ring announcing the first match, which is the first round of the Knockouts Knockdown tournament. And who comes out first but friend of the show, Lady Frost. Hey, how cool was that? How cool was that? Yeah, she was great. She came out. We got some snow and ice. She was. It was a fantastic entrance. I think she got a rousing response from the Impact crowd as well, which was good to see. A talent that I like. I want to see more of on Impact. I want to see her join the Knockouts roster. I think she was great. We then obviously versus Rachel Ellering, who is also another favorite of mine. But anyway, what a great opening match with both ladies getting in their offense. And I have to say, it was just great seeing Lady Frost back in the Impact ring. Both ladies give it their all, but in the end, it was Rachel who came out on top to win the first match. On a side note, some of the commentary was absolutely fantastic from Mickey and Vader during this opening section, and I think it really gave us an insight into where this was going to go with those two as the night sort of kind of rolled on. What were your thoughts? I mean, I thought this match was fantastic. I had a bit of a conversation with someone on Facebook earlier who didn't agree, but I thought the match was great. What about yourself, Joe? What were your thoughts?
Of all the opening matches, this one was the best. And Lady Frost is absolutely fantastic, and Rachel Ellering really took a massive beating in this match. So you've got to see Lady Frost. She's even coming back next week for a match. You can tell that Impact Wrestling she might have lost, but she didn't look weak in this match. And the Impact Wrestling have definitely got their eyes on Lady Frost and everything. She's even put out a rant on Twitter about people saying, she should be signing with WWE, she should be signing with AEW, etc., etc. So I recommend you guys check that out and show your support for Lady Frost there too, because it's fucking brilliant what she's had to say about it.
Okay,
but I was a bit disappointed Lady Frost lost the match, but like I said, it didn't make her look weak, and Rachel Ellering hasn't really won a singles match for ages, so this helped Rachel Ellering out a bit too. So it was win, lose. The match was awesome. The commentary was on the ball from start to finish throughout the entire night.
Okay, what about yourself, Steve? What were your thoughts on this one and obviously the result?
Yeah, like for me, watching it was one of those matches that really could have gone either way. And I thought Lady Frost put on an incredible performance. And the fact that it could have gone either way just shows how good she was. And also for me, a shout out to Rachel Ellering, because I will hold my hands up and say that I thought when she came into the company, I didn't see much in her. I thought she, was just average, but since Slammiversary, man, she has been killing it.
Good. I agree. I mean, Rachel was one that I was calling to join the company pretty early on, pretty much when she was released from up north, and I was like, man, we need Rachel. We need Rachel on the show. For many reasons, really. Her ability in the ring, which I thought was great. The fact that she's so young, the fact that she's got that pedigree. So I'm pleased to see how well she's doing now. But you're right, that this opening match for me was fire. Like, it was a great match to open the show with.
Yeah.
It set the tone for what we were then going to get as the tournament went on. We then moved on to Renee Michelle versus Chelsea Green. Now, again, we get a treat from the entrance of Renee walking in like a catwalk diva. And, of course, the crowd give Chelsea a huge pop, as always. We are then treated to something very different from the first match. We got both ladies lock it up, and we get some ground-based grappling from the pair, which eventually led to strikes with Chelsea planting a punch, I believe, on the face of Renee, and we get Renee shouting out in disgust, "Not my beautiful face." Which I thought was hilarious, and I hope that we start to see many gifs of that one. In fact, if we could get a soundbite of that would be pretty awesome, Stevie boy. But this was, for me, I thought this was a really good match between two young and very talented ladies that eventually leads to Chelsea picking up the win. Now, I enjoyed it. I thought, at times it sort of kind of started to lose luster, and then it sort of kind of kicked back in again. So I enjoyed the match. What about you, Steve? What did you think on this one?
Yeah, like you said, the match had a lot more technical wrestling in this, which countered the first one very nice, because you had something different to get your teeth into. And something else I'll add is the pre-match package prior. I personally, out of all of them, felt Renee came off the best. I thought she spoke very well. I thought she presented herself very well. And I was actually very surprised by the result. I thought Renee Michelle would win this, but so it was a little bit of a shock, but the fact that they put that doubt in my mind just shows how good of a performance it was. And great match.
Yeah, definitely. Hakeem, we spoke about the Decay match, etc. So the Good Brothers will be on the press pass a little bit later, just mentioning that one. So Joe, what are your thoughts on this match?
I agree. I agree with Steve. Renee Michelle's promo work on the video package was awesome, and Chelsea Green did a really good job of reminding everyone who she was as well. And you got to Renee Michelle. She excelled so much in the build to this match, and it was just great to see her back in the ring too. So I'm smiling ear to ear. First seeing Lady Frost, and then seeing Renee Michelle back, and just thinking, thank God we've seen her again, because she's so impressive when she came in with Killer Kelly, and I was just itching to see her come back to Impact Wrestling. And the match itself was awesome, and especially the big lock up, the big knock my face. It was solid from start to finish, and like you guys have just said, it was really big contrast to Lady Frost and Rachel Ellering. It was, and I thought that was good. It was great balance for everything.
Exactly.
And it's the only other ideal situation would have been to have Lady Frost versus Renee Michelle, and then it would just set the whole night on fire and been impossible to beat until the Monsters Ball match.
You're true. So overall, I think the first two matches have really set the tone for what we're going to expect for the rest of the night. Two great matches. We then move into the next match. Again, like you say, we get the video package leading into each of the matches, which I thought was really cool. Something I think they should do more of, actually.
That video package, the next video package, was produced really well, wasn't it? You had Renee Mercedes doing a promo with just images of Brandy flashing up.
Yeah, it was really good. The way that they did it, I thought it was really clever. But so we have Brandy Loren versus Mercedes Martinez. Now, there really is something about the new Brandy character as one of the Su Yung bridesmaids that is really clicking for me. I think her facial expressions, the way she moves, is really interesting and scary. Pardon me, but Mercedes proved a tad too much for a competitor, I think, for Brandy. And although Brandy definitely made some great offensive moves right off the bat, I think the veteran Martinez was just too much, and picks up the win. Top move. With some of the top moves in the tournament, if you ask me. Now, side note again, this one is it was actually the shortest match of the night by far. I guess they needed to cut one of them short because they were all quite long. It was certainly a BAM match. But I think you got to see enough of Brandy, to know that, she's going to be one hell of a wrestler as time goes on, I guess. What were your thoughts on this one, Joe?
Yeah, I do agree with the video package and the way Brandy Loren's character has changed is just amazing. The match itself, after Mercedes won this match, it clicked instantly that she was the one who's going to win the entire tournament, which is probably the only downer I can say about the entire night for me, is that after that you knew who was going to win. But it didn't take anything away from the matches in general. It was just like, oh, this is going to win. But I was so impressed with her. I've not seen her many of her matches beforehand, so I was really impressed with what she did throughout the entire night, and it was just awesome to put it bluntly. And
it was a good match.
Briefly, yeah, it was.
It was
so
a brief,
good.
but it was good. It was brief, but it was good. What about you, Steve? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I'll agree with you in the fact that Brandy plays this character so well. I mean, her facial expressions, they're getting up there with Su Yung level. She really does feel like she was made for this position. I personally would have liked to have seen the match go slightly longer, because you're building up this whole new franchise with Su Yung, and then Brandy gets beaten in just about 2 minutes. It doesn't kind of bode too well for her. Yes, it makes Mercedes look like a badass, but yeah, it kind of, for me, it felt like, well, we're kind of not giving Brandy too much. Yeah, there was a little.
To be fair, though, the match was a little bit longer than Trent's marriage.
Well, it went more than 30 seconds.
Exactly. I think the match was like literally. I think it was about 2 minutes, which again, actually talking about that, was longer than all 4 matches that we saw from the E this week, female matches.
Yeah.
So even when we're complaining that she only got a couple of minutes, when up north they're getting like a minute and a half. But I don't know. It's interesting because
for reals.
For reals. But like I said, I enjoyed the match. I think we all enjoyed the match, and we could see that character build. You might be right. Does it hurt her? I don't know.
I don't know if it hurts her. I just don't know if it helps the build of the group that's happening.
Yeah. No, I agree. No, totally. But we just have to wait and see on how that builds.
Yeah.
I think we could potentially see a really good tag team between Kimber and Brandy. So we just have to see how that sort of kind of pans out as well. We then move on to the next tournament match. Obviously, the first round is now coming together with Tasha Steelz versus Jamie Senegal. Sorry. So this was an interesting matchup. Yeah, you had the smaller pitbull in Tasha versus the bigger, stronger, but less experienced Jamie. From the start of the night, we had these sort of kind of like 2-minute introductions, which we were talking about just now for each of the highlighted matches competitor. During this segment, we learned that Jamie was the daughter of Daphne. Now, I believe that is not kind of like biological daughter, but kind of like like when you sort of kind of like
Adopted?
mother. almost adopted, but you kind of mother somebody, I guess, from a young age, and become that kind of mother or father figure for a younger talent, for a younger person, I guess, to help them in their life. So obviously Jamie sort of kind of sees Daphne as her mum. So it was great to have her on the show. Now, during that match, we got to see a very aggressive Tasha, who is clearly up for this tournament and match. But Jamie gave a really good account of herself with some fantastic athletic offense. But in the end, the speed and aggression of Tasha was just too much. Tasha gets the win to move on in the tournament. Now, what were your thoughts on this match? Because I thought this was a really good match. I mean, I wouldn't put it up there with obviously the first couple of matches, but I still think this was a pretty solid match. And it was great to see someone that I hadn't seen before in Jamie Senegal get in the ring. And it was a nice touch that obviously she was very close to Daphne as well. So what were your thoughts on this one? I'm going to go with Steve on this first.
Yeah, for me, this was a good match, but like you said, I would probably put it slightly lower on my list, but that's not saying much considering every other match was fantastic. For me, I thought Senegal was decent, although if you look at all the other knockouts that debuted, I think she's probably, if Impact were to sign all of them, she would be one that I've said previously would be one that I think you would need to send to developmental, because she's got the she's got some talent, but I think she needs some basic sort of development to her before she's ready. There is something there that just needs the ironing done to her. But yeah, I never felt like Tasha was losing this. I always felt, like Joe said a minute ago, I always felt like it would be Tasha and Mercedes in the final, given what they've done on Impact. Yeah,
I agree. I think they'd already built that sort of there was going to be some sort of rivalry there between the two of them, being two Barriqua badasses. What about you, Joe? What were your thoughts on it?
Well, Steve summed up pretty much what I've had to say. Tasha Steelz is definitely on cue to be the next Knockouts champion. I think Joanna Prazo is going to knock through everybody else. I think we're going to have Tasha Steelz and Joanna Prazo Rebellion next year, and Tasha Steelz is going to beat Joanna Prazo. That's how I can see things going for Tasha Steelz.
Really? What, you think that's going to happen next year's Bound for Glory? So Deanna's going to be champion right the way through to next year's Bound for Glory?
No, that's next year's Rebellion.
Rebellion.
If it's next year's Bound for Glory, then she's going to knock Taya Valkyrie's record off the longest reigning Knockouts champion. And
quite dramatically.
As much as I love Deanna Prazo as champion, I don't want to see Taya Valkyrie's record gets knocked off so quickly. That doesn't feel right. It doesn't seem right. But if it happens, it happens. And
it's only another month away, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just under come January next year. Joanna Prazo is going to be the longest reigning Knockouts champion.
I think it's November, isn't it? Something like that.
Yeah,
I think it is literally a month away. I think she is going to take that title. I really do. I'll be very surprised if she doesn't as well. Can I just answer a quick question? Now, I think it's Violet has asked the question, why haven't we seen Sue much? Now, I'm going to answer that, but I'm not sure whether it's whether this is right or wrong. I'm just going to give you what I think. I think that the longer we don't see Sue Young in the ring, or we don't see Sue Young, is in action, I guess. We see more of her behind the scenes, the more likely it is that she's got something to do with Bray Wyatt coming in. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say there, because I honestly believe that if we get Wyndham, or whatever his name is now, then it's going to have something to do with Sue Young. That's what I believe. So, and she's building up this kind of, this faction of undead bridesmaids. She's bringing people. She's bringing the souls in. She's got Swingerella. What's happened to her? We don't know yet. Will she turn up at some point? So there's a lot going on. I'm wondering whether possibly she might have a little small injury that we don't know about, because she's not been doing. she's not been doing any independent stuff either. So who knows what's going on there? But that could be what it is, a way of sort of kind of like keeping her out of the ring, but still keeping her relevant. That's my thoughts on that one. But you never know. So it's interesting to see exactly where all this is going to go. Anyway, that's for sure. Now we then get Mean Gia Miller backstage with Gail Kim, and Gail states that she thinks all the ladies that have, progressed in the tournament are great, but if they want to win the whole thing, they better bring their A games, which is, kind of pretty cliche for me. I was expecting, there was no bold predictions. It was very generic, so which I thought was a bit disappointing. I was hoping that she was going to, at least give us something, but that then obviously led to the Pick Your Poison match, which came about this past week on Impact, where Mickey comes and attacks Deanna while a meeting with Scott D'Amore and Gail Kim, where Gail tells Deanna that as punishment for attacking Mickey at her home the previous week, that Mickey gets to pick Deanna's opponent for Knockouts Knockdown in a Pick Your Poison match. This obviously then leads to the announcement that we were going to get Deanna Purrazzo versus Masha Slamovich in a non-title match. Now, this was a great matchup. And Masha, I have to say, I've not, other than at Empower, I've never seen her before. So
she has been in Impact before.
Has she? I don't remember her.
She took on Jordan Grace on Explosion, and Jordan Grace beat her, but she was on Impact before, and it was a bloody good match then too. So I'm really pleased.
She faced Havoc, but I don't remember.
Interesting. So, okay, so we get this matchup. Now, I thought it was a great match. Deanna, right from the bell. However, like Masha proper took it to Deanna right from the off. However, Deanna, being the best wrestler on the planet, really showed why she's earned the moniker, and eventually gets Masha into the Venus de Milo for the win. Now, I have to say that I thought this was a really, really good match. I don't know. I've seen photographs and I've heard that Masha was actually, after the match, offered an Impact contract. Now, I don't know how true this is. I don't know if anyone else can confirm this. So I'm not gonna say this is for definite, but let's hope that Masha is signed, because I think she'd make a great addition to the Knockout roster. What were your thoughts on this one, Joe?
This match was incredible. She reminds me so much of Jazzy Gabbert. If anyone's seen her, she's a German wrestler who's been on the independent scene.
Alpha female.
Yeah, she went to NXT UK and got underutilized there. But when she was wrestling elsewhere, she was an absolute beast. And
I think Alpha Female's been on Impact, TNA.
Yeah, she was there back in the day.
Yeah, really good.
It was such a great comparison between the two, so it was really, really enjoyable to watch this match. And Deanna Purrazzo really did have to bust her ass to get the victory in this, so there's no qualms to me over Deanna Purrazzo getting the win this time around. It was awesome. It was the technical ability from both of them was great, and the endurance Deanna Purrazzo showed throughout the entire match was fantastic. And then after the match, I saw Deanna Purrazzo's post on Twitter about Mickie James's shoulders being busted, and the Venus de Milo joke she made about that. So that added an extra
with Mickey's face on the picture.
That just added the extra enjoyment to the whole match itself.
I'm telling you now, if that is not the clapback moment of the week on BTI, I'm going to be sorely disappointed. What about you, Steve? What do you think on this?
Yeah, like we always say, that the knockouts are known for just having basically being unique. No knockout is the same. Every knockout is different. Every knockout offers something unique. And Masha basically fits into that category. She looks completely unique. Her style, although it was similar to Deanna, she offered something different every time they went up against each other. And this was basically counter wrestling, technical wrestling, and there was even some high flying in there. And if Impact have offered her a contract, I would not be surprised, because she basically proved, she's proved she can hang with the Impact Knockouts champion, and that is nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah, no, totally agree with that as well. And I'll tell you what, have you seen the show Glow that they did based on the original? It's like a dramatization of the promotion from years ago when they first did this women's wrestling promotion years and years and years ago.
Yeah.
There's a character in that which is like this Russian kind of like bad guy with the big hair and all that kind of stuff. She very much reminded me of that character from Glow. So if any of the guys in the chat have seen Glow, then I'm sure you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, I hope they've signed her. I really do, because I think
they have.
I think she's going to be a really, really cool addition to the Knockouts roster. Like you say, adding diversity, a great young talent. I really hope that she, we get to see her a little bit more. Now,
Good job, Scott. Good job.
There you go. We are then treated what for me is the match of the night. The first semi-final match of the tournament, Rachel Ellering versus Mercedes Martinez. I think from the start of the match, Rachel offers her hand to Martinez in a show of respect to both ladies, shake hands, and then this one kicks off. I think the ladies were at a stalemate early on, but Martinez gets the upper hand with a huge big boot after Ellering's clothesline. We are then treated some fantastic counters and offensive moves from both ladies. And at this point, things were very even, Stevens. After kicking out from the boss woman, Martinez eventually hits the Fisherman's Buster and locks in the guillotine to get the win by submission. After the match, we get a real show of respect. Rachel offers her hand once again, and Martinez takes Rachel's hand and raises it up in the air and in a show of respect. I think, for me, this was the match of the night. If you're talking about a pure wrestling match, this was the one. Was the Monsters Ball sort of kind of like a great match? Was the final with Tasha Martinez a good match? Yes, it was. Was the main event really good? Yes, it was. But if you're talking about a pure wrestling match, I think this is the one for me, and I really, really enjoyed it. In fact, I watched it 3 times. I thought it was a really, really good match, and I hope, and I have a funny feeling that this could get a rematch at Bound for Glory. What are your thoughts on this one, Joe?
Undoubtedly, this was the best wrestling match of the night, and Rachel Ellering once again just shone through in this match so much, and it took misfortune for her to lose. It wasn't because she wasn't outperformed in any way at all. It was like just classic chess game. One mistake in there, one wrong move, and then it's all over. And even then, it took ages. It took forever for Mercedes to beat Rachel Ellering down enough to keep her down. It was so just shows how good Rachel Ellering is as well. So like when she beat Lady Frost, a loss here doesn't damage the person who lost. So Rachel Ellering wins by losing because she had such a good showing. It was just great to see. One of the best matches of the night, definitely the best wrestling match of the night, and one of my favorite matches in the whole event.
Yeah, totally. What about you, Steve? What about you?
Yeah, I can't agree more. When the pay-per-view finished, I was like, that was my match for the night. I know a lot of people are talking about the Monsters Ball, Deonna versus Slamovich, and the main event, Mercedes versus Tasha. But for me, this one stole the show for me. I thought there was some fantastic wrestling, as you say. The Fight Forever chant, it could not be more perfect. I could have watched this all night.
Yeah, it was quality. It was absolute quality, and I think
I'll give a shout out to commentary as well. They really helped elevate it too.
Yeah, they really did embrace everything.
Yeah, I think. when we talk about the commentary side of things, for me, like there's people going, oh, you need to bring her in to replace Striker. What are you talking about? Well, you're not happy with Josh. You get Striker in, you're happy for 10 minutes, and now you want to get rid of him. No,
Yeah.
Striker is great. If you bring in
Yeah.
Vader, you add her to the booth. You don't take someone away. Make it a three-person booth. We get D'Lo, we get Striker, and we get Vader. That would be amazing. And if we end up at a point where Striker can't make it, well, then we don't need to bring in Josh Matthews because we've got Vader instead. So we just go with a two-man booth for that show.
Wish I'd thought of that.
There you go. I wish you did too.
Striker and D'Lo have good chemistry. So
I love the chemistry between Striker and D'Lo. It's awesome.
So
Yeah,
while it's working,
I agree, but I think if you added Vader in there, especially when it comes to sort of kind of like letting her kind of take the lead for, say, knockouts matches, for instance.
Oh yeah,
I think that would work really, really well. But like you say, really, really good match. Loved it. Okay, so we then get the next semi-final, which was Tasha Steelz versus Chelsea Green. Now, this match, again, was fast and furious from the outset. We get to, pretty much what we get to expect from Tasha Steelz' match. She always comes out of the gate fast and furious. Neither woman really gets an upper hand at this point. We get to see high flying from Chelsea. We get hesitate. We had a great hesitation drop kick from Tasha. In the end, it was just too much for Chelsea. And after hitting Chelsea with a super unprettier, and then followed up with a frog splash, she gets to win 1, 2, 3. Now, this match I thought was pretty good. I thought Tasha should have been a little bit more dominant in this match because she was obviously going to go through. We needed to see a dominant Tasha to then face a dominant Martinez. But I didn't feel we did. I thought that Chelsea got a good showing, and to be fair, this match probably could have gone either way, and everyone would have been fairly happy. Although I think obviously the match. The whole tournament was sort of kind of pre-set up for Tasha Martinez to be in the final, as we saw sort of like on this past week of Impact, where that all started to get set up. What were your thoughts on this one, Steve?
Well, one thing that I did think was watching Chelsea in this match was we really haven't seen her in many one-on-one knockout matches in Impact, have we?
No, we haven't.
So, yeah, this was kind of like a nice sort of like moment where you think, hang on, it's a nice change for once. So it's quite enjoyable. But yeah, I will agree with you that I would like to see this match again in Impact because there were a few moments where I thought that didn't look like it was meant to happen, or that looked a bit off. So it's either a case of the match was a bit had a few iffy moments, or these two just don't quite match up.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, there was a couple of iffy bits, and I guess that was what I was trying to say. But what about you? What about you, Joe? What did you think?
Yeah, a lot of what you guys have said is pretty much what I've had to say. As far as iffy moments and stuff, Chelsea Green is still wrestling with a cast on her arm. So she's pretty much using left arm for right over her right arm, or whichever one is it. So grappling is still pretty difficult because if she lunges into it, it's going to knock her arm and it's just going to cause a lot of pain. Tasha Steelz really could have been a lot more aggressive, especially compared to the opening match. But then, of course, that also then you didn't take on board. She exerted so much energy in the first match that she clearly isn't going to be going flat out in the second match. It just seemed then too unrealistic. So, but it was a great match for Tasha Steelz, especially the finish. The finish was incredible, and I was it could have gone either way, and I would have been satisfied. But Tasha Steelz going through didn't surprise me, and I was just pleased to see a great match.
Okay, awesome. So we then obviously find out who was going to be in the final. So we know that we now got Tasha versus Martinez for for the final of the tournament, which is great. We then have the announcement from Christy Hemme that Awesome Kong will be inducted into the Impact Hall of Fame 2021. This was followed by a tribute to Daphne from Taylor Wilde, who was unable to be there, unfortunately. Now, I thought that the Awesome Kong thing was really well done. She came out, she sort of kind of like said thank you to everybody and highlighted basically, the world of wrestling and this was a tribute to all of them and all that kind of stuff, which I thought was really lovely. It was nice to see Christy Hemme again turn up in an Impact ring, which was lovely. Obviously, Gail came out. It was quite a lovely moment, I think, for Awesome Kong. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to seeing her inducted. I think it's going to be a really, really lovely moment. She's a fantastic.
Is that the guy from TNN?
Yes, it was the guy from TNA. So it was fantastic. We then, like I said, we had the followed up by the tribute to Daphne from Taylor Wilde, who was unable to be there, as I said. And again, I thought this was a really nice sort of kind of video package. I don't know why Taylor's not been around. Maybe she just couldn't make that set of tapings again. I'm not sure. It is a shame because we're not really getting that consistency from Taylor.
No.
Because she's not at every single set of tapings.
But it was
certainly
a nice package from her.
It was a nice package for her, and it's probably a good way to get her on the show. Then obviously the announcement was made that tonight's Monsters Ball match would be dedicated to Daphne, which again I thought was a really nice touch. Again, that was the setup now for the Monsters Ball match. We then get Kimberly coming out with a crowbar, which was kind of like Daphne's thing, versus Savannah Evans versus Alicia versus Jordan Grace. Now I was a little bit surprised, because I thought that this would have been the match that we saw Taylor Wilde, but obviously, like I said, she obviously couldn't make it. Now, this match for me did not disappoint at all. I mean, we had chairs with barbed wire. We had tacks. We had steel bins. We had kendo sticks with and without barbed wire. And we had Kimberly with a crowbar. I feel Kimber took the worst of it being split open with a barbed wire chair, to being kendo stick battered and eventually taking a muscle buster and a DDT into the thumbtacks. But boy, all four ladies really gave their all. And I think this was a great tribute to the Scream Queen, and unexpected win for the newcomer, Savannah Evans, pinning.
This is sick. This whole place is going to hell in a handbasket.
It was sick. It was sick. Kimberly was absolutely pouring with blood, but she certainly brought her all. I think one of the highlights was Savannah Evans having the steel bin over the top of her, and then obviously Kimberly cracking it with the with the crowbar. I thought was quite cool. And is it me, or was that an unusually large amount of tacks? It wasn't just a small pile. It was like opened it up and it was just like literally the entire ring was engulfed with thumbtacks. It was incredible. So I thought this was a really, really good match. I mean, as a bloodthirsty man, it was a great match. What are your thoughts on it? What was your thoughts on this one? We'll go with Joe first.
Right. Firstly, match of the night for me, undoubtedly. Kimberly and Alicia Edwards absolutely stole this match for me as well. Kimberly proved that why she's in Impact Wrestling and reminded everyone that prior to Impact Wrestling, she was a very, very prominent deathmatch wrestler. She's been in the ring with Session Moth. I don't know if anyone's heard of her. She's been in the ring with her, and they've had some absolute badass matches together. And Alicia Edwards just proved to everyone why she deserved the respect she's not getting from the fans. And she was fucking incredible in this match. I thought she was absolutely incredible. And the outpouring of support she got afterwards from everybody was just overwhelming. And it's all on my Twitter feed, guys, if you want to send your respect.
I'm sure it's all over the place. Alicia had a really, really good showing in this. You're right. What about yourself, Steve? What were your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, like you've said, every knockout brought it in this match. Alicia had some fantastic moments, although I will say that that moment where Jordan dropped her on that steel plate, I literally cringed. I thought that was really nasty.
Yeah.
But yeah, all four knockouts brought it and gave it. I hope Kimber got paid double because some of the beating she took was
Can you imagine?
really
Can you
nasty.
imagine? I mean, as we all know, they obviously discussed their match, back behind the screens and what they're going to do, where they're going to go with it, etc.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the conversation on this one where they're like, right, who's going to go through the, who's going to go into the barbed wire chair? And Kimber's like, me, I'm up for that. And right, who's going to take the dustbin with a crowbar? And Savannah's like, oh, I'm happy with that one. Yeah, I'll do that. I mean, I just can't imagine the discussions that you would have on how this match was going to pan out, because
It
it's just
would be
crazy.
interesting if it's a voluntary or if it's just draw straws.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, who's going to go with this one? Just insane. I mean, for me, that muscle buster onto the thumbtacks was just fucking insane.
Yeah.
I mean, Kimber's face when she obviously landed on the thumbtacks was priceless.
Yeah.
But boy,
Yeah.
this was a match. This was a match, really was. And we just got to go take our hat. If I could take the hat off to all of the all four of those knockouts in the match.
Can't discount the effort at all.
Oh my God, fantastic, mate, fantastic. Okay, so once that was all said and done, they cleared up all the thumbtacks. We then head into the Knockouts Knockdown tournament final. We get Tasha Steelz versus Mercedes Martinez. And basically Martinez gets in the majority of her offense early on with suplex after suplex after suplex. If you remember, it's just insane on Tasha. Tasha then starts to build some momentum with some offense of her own, including running head scissors followed by a tornado DDT. But after some fantastic to and fro, eventually Martinez, the veteran, was just too much for Tasha at this point. As she connects with the OG drop to pick up the win and the tournament to earn a shot at the Knockouts title after BFG. Now, Gail Kim comes out to the ring to present her with the huge cup, which was like ginormous. And obviously lots of hugs, lots of smiles. I think it was a really nice moment. What were your thoughts on this final? We'll go with Steve. What were your thoughts on this final?
This was a really good final and a really good match. And considering you've got one knockout who's on the roster and one knockout who, as we speak, isn't, I really had no idea which way this would go. It really could have gone either way, and that is, it's credit to Impact. They've given you a reason to want the current Impact knockout to win, and a reason for the newcomer to also win.
The newcomer veteran.
Yeah, I mean, sort of newcomer.
It seems weird. I get, no, I know what you mean, but it just sounds weird when you say Martina Martinez is a newcomer. Because she is such a badass and a veteran.
If it's going in the direction I think it's going, then this could be an incredible long-term storytelling.
I think so, and I hope that they do sign her. And I think, to be honest, if they're putting this much faith and this much push into her, she must be signing a deal.
Yeah.
What about you, Joe? What are your thoughts on this one?
It was a awesome match. It was a very, very well paced match as well. The way Tasha Steelz managed to fight back and still hang in there for so long was incredible. Because almost said Savannah Evans, because Mercedes Martinez is clearly the more powerful athlete in the ring, and she's been really dominant throughout the whole night. So the way Tasha Steelz to pick up all that momentum and still carry on for so long, it was just a good technical match. Good, powerful match. It was just what you wanted from a final, regardless who wins. It was the good way to finish the whole tournament.
Yeah, I agree with that. It was a fantastic match. It for me, when it comes to the tournament, obviously Martinez and Rachel Elling was the best one. I think this was the second best match of the tournament for me.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a good, strong match. Interestingly enough, both of the matches were had Mercedes Martinez in it. No coincidence, because she is an OG, she's a legend, and a fantastic ring general, as she proved once again by winning the tournament. Now, we are then all introduced to the Tag Me In, which is being set up to empower people with mental health issues. Stars from around the world are involved, and we see stars like Lufisto, Lita, and Mick Foley, and on the video package showing their support, as well as current Impact AAA, New Japan Pro Wrestling, AEW stars offering their support and admitting to their own demons outside the ring. I think this was a great thing, and just basically shows why Impact is such a great company, and how they support the business in general, and the talents, either on their brand or other brands. It makes no difference to them. It's great to see the support. I certainly will be buying a t-shirt at some point, because I think it's well worth doing. So if anybody else hasn't got their Tag Me In t-shirt yet, get yourself a Pro Wrestling Tees and buy yourself one, because pretty much I think the proceeds of the shirts are going directly to help wrestlers that need the help, basically. Get involved. So we then get on to the main event, which is obviously the Knockouts Tag Team title match. The Influence versus Decay, Rosemary and Havoc. Now, we get the Influence entrance, Madison and Tenille with Caleb and Decay, lots of pictures and poses, which you come to expect from them. But then we get Decay, Rosemary, the leader, and Havoc, accompanied by Crazy Steve and Taurus. When the lights go out and the music hits, you're in for a treat. I love this group, and I love the entrance. It's so awesome. I tell you what, I would love to see some fire and brimstone added, as we start to move into some bigger venues in 20, and putting in some more production values in 2022. I can see that coming. Let's hope. So we get Rosemary and Madison kick this one off, with Rosemary hitting Madison with several clotheslines, then biting her face off in the corner. The crowd go wild with chants of "Bite her face off."
Oh, yes.
Bite her face off. Yeah, we get it going, baby. It was fantastic. The crowd were proper into it. We eventually get Havoc tagged in, and Madison manages to escape her and tag Tenille in. We get some interference from Caleb with a K, which leads to some great offense. With the Influence.
I'll be right back.
Okay, buddy. Which leads to the Influence almost lead to Madison getting the pin on Rosemary. We then get some paced offense from Havoc, and we get and we then get Steve and Taurus chasing off Caleb with a K to the back. Obviously, once the sort of interference from the back is gone, during the commotion, Havoc and Rosemary put away Madison with a leg sweep spear combo to retain the Knockouts tag titles. I think Decay are great champs. I hope they continue into the new year as tag champs. And I solely hope that that's the case come Bound for Glory, that they continue into the new year as tag champs, and maybe they drop at Hard to Kill around that sort of time. What were your thoughts on this match? I guess I'm going with Steve. What about you, buddy?
This was a really fun match to end a great night. You've had a lot of sort of serious matches and then this was just a fun little match to kind of send the crowd home happy, where they could sort of have there was a bit of comedy in that, but there was still enough. It wasn't overplayed. It was a bare bones match, but with that comedy factor added. This was, to me, a lot of people would have been surprised to see this as the main event, but when you kind of think about it, and obviously what happened after, I guess it was the perfect match to end. Plus, you've got the Decay winning, and when you think it is in honor of Daphne, Decay are the perfect people to end the night on.
Yeah, I guess you're probably right. To be fair, yeah. I mean, I really enjoy this match, and to be fair, it's also the only title match of the night as well. So
Yeah.
effectively, it's almost kind of like, you know, it is the main event because it is a big match. It's the title match. So you know, I thought this was a great match. I really enjoyed it. Of course, once this was all over and done with, as the show finishes, we then get the video package informing us that the Inspiration are coming to Bang for Glory, which at that moment I was hyping my ass off. I thought, you know, again, it's kind of like, you know what, we've been talking about this for months and months and months on Impact, that we thought that they're the perfect fit for Impact Wrestling. And once they started introducing the influence, it all started to sort of like come to fruition. I honestly thought we were going to get the Inspiration versus the Influence at BFG.
I do too. That's how I saw it going.
Not Decay, and I thought that would be the perfect match to get them going. They could have won, which would have then set them up to sort of kind of, you know, build to a title match with Decay, maybe, you know, at Turning Point or something like that. But yeah, I thought, you know, overall, I thought, you know, I'm going to go with final thoughts here. I think overall, I think the Knockouts Knockdown was a massive success, and has proved beyond any shadow of a doubt that the Knockouts division can pull off a special, a pay-per-view, and for me deserve a weekly 1 hour show. They could do that, and they could do that every single week. They could put bums in seats. People would come and enjoy it. I'm sorry. I think it's time, you know, and we need to get in there before, you know, this WoW starts kicking off as well, because I just think that the best female roster on the planet right now is the Knockouts division, and we need to put them to the forefront of Impact Wrestling right now. We really do. What about you, Joe? What are your final thoughts on Knockouts Knockdown?
Apart from what you've just said, not much else to add really. It was just one of the best Impact Plus specials of the whole year to start to kick it off with. We got a fantastic match between the Rachel Ellering and Mercedes Martinez, as well as Deonna Purrazzo and I've forgotten her name.
Masha Slamovich.
Slamovich and the Monsters Ball. So there's like 3 match of the year candidates off the bat from there. It, like you said, it proved the Knockouts can go toe to toe with anybody and any promotion. Impact Wrestling is the benchmark for women's wrestling, regardless of what anyone wants to fucking say. So 2 fingers to all you guys if you did doubt that. And I'm looking forward to seeing it come back next year, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it from here. Yeah,
I think it's about time we've got Knockout Slamtown. But anyway, what about you, Joe? Sorry, what about you, Steve? What's your final thoughts on this before we move on?
Final thoughts are, you know, that this, like you said at the start, it's for me Impact's Impact Plus event of the year. I feel that I went in it with reasonable expectations, and considering we only knew half the matches, given obviously you've only got the first round of the tournament, and then come out of it thinking, wow, what a show. Fantastic from Impact.
Well done, Impact Wrestling.
What I'll say is try and top that.
Exactly.
Right.
I said all along, I thought that this show would top NWA Empower, and it freaking well did. There's no doubt about that. And as far as I'm concerned, it was the only thing that they didn't have was the size of the crowd that obviously they have for the Empower when it was in a bigger venue. That's the only thing that it had over Knockouts Knockdown. The production was great, the commentary was great, the matches were amazing, top to bottom. It was 3 hours of pure badass. I loved it, and I just, I hope that Gail and Scott and the whole Impact team look at this and say, you know what, we really could do a 1 hour show on this. We really, really could. Every single week, we could have an extra 1 hour of a knockouts only show, and I think it would be just insanely good. And I'm not saying you take the knockouts off the Thursday show. I'm just saying that maybe you try and showcase the men more, but still have a couple of knockout. Still have storyline progression. Still have the odd couple of matches with the knockouts, but primarily you put those Impact knockouts on their own show to really, really showcase them. And I think they deserve it because they're amazing. So let's move on. We got the DMC tournament matches. Now, the Tuesday night match, I think the Wednesday match is actually going on as we speak, probably. But available on Impact Plus and YouTube Ultimate Insiders. Last night we had Sam Beale versus Falaba. Fala picks up the victory. I think this was a fun match. The Learning Tree are basically taking over the sort of kind of comedy mantle, I think, from the sort of kind of Swinger and Swinger's Palace and all that kind of stuff. I think they're going to be taking on that mantle now moving forward. I mean, Zicky Dice is funny as hell. Manny Lemons is funny. Sam is doing a fantastic job. Sam Beale, he's really coming on leaps and bounds. He's beefing up as well. He's proper been getting himself in the gym, and he's proper toning up. He's really starting to get that delivery as well. He knows what he's doing. But Fala was awesome in this match. Fala was a class above. So it was great to see him pick up the victory. But tonight, I believe we've got Johnny Swinger versus Jordan Grace. I think we're definitely going to see Jordan win this one. Maybe it's going to be Jordan is the female talent in the DMC tournament moving forward. So be interesting to see where that sort of kind of all pans out. I don't know. What are your thoughts on the way the DMC tournament's going so far?
It's gone pretty much as expected. The best match so for me is when Crazy Steve versus Hernandez. That was just so unpredictable. The other ones you got to see where the learning tree is going more rather than it being like, let's showcase what the title's about. But the title itself is just for entertainment. It's not anything too serious.
Yeah, and
Falaba got an awesome showing in his match against Sam Beale, and Sam Beale got an awesome showing going up against Falaba. You got to see how he still managed to outsmart him a few times, and Falaba got to really pander to the crowd a lot more, full pun intended. And I'm looking forward to seeing Jordan Grace versus Johnny Swinger, because we know Johnny Swinger is not going to take it too seriously, and Swinger's just hilarious when you see him getting the shit kicked out of him. And
he's going to be thinking that she's a ham and egg, daddy.
Oh yeah, and so I think out of who's going to win it, I think it's going to be Crazy Steve or Jordan Grace. And to pick the winner, I'd say Crazy Steve.
I think it might be Crazy Steve. I think you're right.
I'm thinking.
What about
same.
you, Steve? You think the same? I'm not sure who's going to be in the next matches, but
that's what I was saying. We don't know who's going to be in the last two matches, and that's one thing I'll say is, for me, it's been. I feel like Impact have done decent with the tournament so far. They started off very hot with announcing the matches and the booking of the matches and everything, but then they didn't announce these last two matches until the 11th hour. So I feel it's been very hot and cold so far on the on it.
I think the problem is, though, as well, is that the push was obviously for Knockouts Knockdown, and I guess they had to wait until that was kind of all done and dusted before they could move on to the next thing, because there was so much hype for Knockouts Knockdown. If they were to release it in the middle of all of that, it would have got lost in the shuffle anyway. So I can see why they held off a little bit in this instance. I'm hoping that tomorrow night they probably announce what the matches are going to be for next week. So that would be probably the way to go with that. Now, with regards to the BTI match, now I'm not seeing anything advertised at all for this. Now, I'm sure there's going to be a match, but again, I think they're going to have so much to recap with regards to Knockouts Knockdown as well as this past week on Impact. It's going to be a pretty full show. So, is it necessarily going to be a long or a big match? It may be quite a short one. I'm not sure. So,
I don't know.
If anybody knows, then please let us know. So then we move on to what's advertised for Impact Wrestling. this past Thursday. Something else has been added. Now, I think it's something to do with a summit between Josh Alexander and Christian with regards to BFG. It's like the Bang for Glory summit or something is going to happen tomorrow night. I'm not sure what that's going to entail, but I'm sure it's going to get heated and very interesting. But when it comes to matches and what's currently advertised, we've got Savannah Evans versus Lady Frost. Again, it's great to see Lady Frost turn up on Impact again.
Definitely.
She's obviously getting an opportunity to show what she can do. What are your thoughts on this one, Joe?
I'm just looking forward to seeing Lady Frost again. Huge fan of Lady Frost, and it's hoping she gets the win in this match too. It'd be nice to if this will be the last time we see her for a while. It'd be nice to have her go out with a bang and cause an avalanche.
Okay, yeah, very nice, Joe. Very nice. I like what you did there. What about you, Steve? What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I agree. It's great to see Lady Frost get another match, and if she is having another match, then you've got to say that Impact definitely have their eye on her. With regards to the result, with Savannah winning the Monsters Ball match, you have to say that they have something in mind for her. So I can't see her winning the Monsters Ball and then losing, sadly. So I do see Savannah picking up the win.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I think Savannah's probably going to pick up the win. Plus the fact she's massive compared to Lady Frost as well. But what I do think is that we're going to get probably a very competitive match, because I don't think
definitely.
They're gonna give them a good sort of 5 or 6 minutes, I think, to show what they can do. And again, they want to have a good look at Lady Frost, I'm sure. We then get VSK, which I'm really pleased to see him coming back for more matches, versus Rich Swann. Now, this is an interesting one because obviously they're seeing something now in VSK.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have introduced him into the fold now with regards to, in that sort of kind of high position with Brian Myers, if they did think that this is a guy that they want to work with. To put him in with Rich Swann, they also, I guess, they know that they're going to get a really, really good match. They're going to get high octane, high flying, fast. They're going to get some really good stuff. So I'm looking forward to this one. I think it's going to be a good one. And then to add even more fire to the sort of kind of like, fast moving, kind of X Division style, matches, high flying. We get Chris Bay versus Chris Sabin. I mean, Jesus Christ, that's a pay-per-view match.
That's the best I've heard of it. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah, I mean that is a pay-per-view quality match on the weekly Impact Wrestling show. I mean, Joe, I know that it's the first you've heard of this one, but what are your thoughts on that, my brother?
Oh, I'm looking. That's just got me speechless. They're really, really putting over Chris Bay, and they're really and there's a lot of doubt of whether him going to the Bullet Club was a good idea, and I already called that out ages ago. This is the right move for Chris Bay, and it's paying off in twofold now. Chris Sabin is an absolute incredible wrestler, so this isn't going to be easy, and we're going to probably this might even lead up to a 6-man tag match at Bound. No, it won't, because Finjuice have got the number 1 contendership shot now because they beat the. No, I'm not sure. I know.
I think Bullet Club won it, didn't they?
Yes, Bullet Club beat Finjuice. So I was going to say we might get a 6-man tag at Bound for Glory, but we won't because Finjuice lost the match the week beforehand. So, but we're going to definitely see more between Finjuice and the Bullet Club on the night. So maybe we might see Jay White come back, and we might then get like Jay White and somebody else versus Finjuice at Bound for Glory. Because I still think Finjuice is definitely going to be on the card at Bound for Glory, and I hope it is in a match like that rather than in the championship scramble match.
There you go. What about you, Steve? What are your thoughts? I mean, you could talk about both these matches because I think VSK versus Rich Swann, Chris Bay versus Chris Sabin. They're 2 amazing matches. What are your thoughts?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, going on to the Bay and Sabin and adding into the Bullet Club, like what Joe said about Finjuice, like. Did Finjuice ever cash in their rematch clause? Is that a possibility?
I'm not sure. I don't remember, to be honest. I honestly don't remember.
So
because
that's a
they move
possibility in
on
how
so
we go.
quickly, don't they? They move on so quickly. They actually want you to forget about things like that so that they can suddenly pull it out of the bag. Oh, do you remember? Actually,
Yeah, but no, it'd be a fantastic match, and it is one that could go either way with Chris Bay and Saban. I do see Bay getting the win just because I feel like he's got more momentum behind him. And as for Swan and VSK, I can see Swan getting the win due to the rest of the learning tree accidentally costing VSK. Sadly, I don't see it leading to a split up. But I just see it a case of them learning through their errors.
Brian Myers will punish them one way or another.
Exactly. They need punishment. Maybe they need to do another 100 press-ups. I don't know. Something's got to happen. But talking about these two fantastic sort of kind of X Division style, fast-paced, high-fire matches, we then got the X Division title tournament match. And this is where it just goes crazily insane, is El Phantasmo versus Willie Mack versus Rohit Raju. I mean, well, for a start, you've got El Phantasmo, who's just incredible, versus Willie Mack, who is a former X Division champion. Rohit Raju, who's also a former, X Division champion. This match is going to be insane. Yeah. It's going to be insane. This is a pay-per-view. Again, I've said it already. This is a pay-per-view quality match right there.
Yeah. I tweeted out.
If not an Impact Plus special, at least.
Yeah. I tweeted out, can we make the match at Bound for Glory a 5-way?
Yeah, I think we should. Now. It's not it.
I think it's just incredible, mate. I honestly, it's just absolutely incredible. But looking forward to that one. Now, I know that simply Beefalo Steve has got something to say about this one. So, and then obviously the final advertised match for the night is the Battle Royale. Winner enters BFG Gauntlet at 20th, and the runner-up, which I thought was weird, goes up first. I thought it would have been the first person to get knocked out goes on first, possibly, but no, I don't know. But anyway,
it's kind of a risk and reward, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, this one. So for me, I know that we'll get to Steve in a second. I know Steve has got plenty of beefalo for this one, but I think this is a mouth-watering prospect of a match, because I don't think that everybody that we see in this match we will see in the Gauntlet match. I think that we'll probably only get to see the two that end it. So basically, the two guys that finish this match, they end up in the first position and the 20th position, are the only two that we'll end up seeing in the actual Gauntlet match at Bound for Glory. But that's my thoughts. That's my thoughts, and it's exactly how I would do it if I was running the show. But I'm not, obviously. So let's go with Steve first, and then, because I know he's got a lot of beefalo for this one. So Steve,
and
give us your
vein
thoughts.
on his head's getting bigger and bigger as he's waiting.
No, I'm just trying to work out how, because the way that you worded that was like you would only have 2 men in the match. I'm just trying to work out how you were how that was worded.
No. Sorry. What I'm saying is that when it boils down to the final two, who are then going to go on first or 20th, I think those are the only two that are in this Battle Royale that will be in that 20-man gauntlet.
Oh, I see.
Right?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, where your beef is that we're basically getting the 20-man gauntlet, at tomorrow night. So it's taking the shine off the gauntlet match. What I'm saying is, A, it's two different matches, right, for a start. One's a Battle Royale, one's a gauntlet, which is two different matches, right? And B, I don't think everyone in this Battle Royale will turn up in the gauntlet match. But it can.
Sadly, I understood about half of that.
We can't, because we know for a start that we've got, I believe, that's interesting, because Willie Mack has entered into the gauntlet match. So that means that he's not going to win tomorrow night. So
spoiler away.
Yeah, and we all know that Rich Swann is.
Why is he not going to win?
Because he'd be in two matches in one night.
Because he'd be in two matches in one night.
Yeah, but he never said he was entering the gauntlet.
Yes,
Yeah.
he did.
He
He said he was going. He said he was
said-
going to
No,
the X division.
Did
He
he?
said he said if
He said he was going for the X division, so he said he was.
Oh,
going,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong. So he may turn up in it then in the end.
Maybe.
But we know that Rich Swan's in it, for instance. So
Yeah.
we also know we've got like is there about 4 or 5 that we already know is going to be in that match?
Yeah,
Um,
is in there.
Exactly. So it's going to be interesting to see who turns up in this battle royale. I mean, and it also hasn't said there's going to be 20 in it, so we don't even know how many is going to be in the battle
Yeah.
royale. It could
Yeah.
be 10, it could be 15, it could be 30. We don't know.
Yeah.
We know, so we're just gonna have to wait and see. But go on, mate, give us your
Exactly.
beef. Give us your beef.
Yeah.
Come on, I'm waiting.
Well,
I'm waiting.
that for me is the way Impact can save this is only having like 10 participants, because the way I'm reading it is Impact are going to have a 20-man battle royale to
It
qualify.
doesn't state that. Doesn't
No, but
state
that's
that. It
the-
just says it's a
That's the
battle royale.
way. That's the way that I'm kind of reading it. But
That's the way you're reading it. That's not
Yeah,
what they've said.
But the way that they can save it is by having, like you said, a 10-man battle royale. Because if they have a 20-man battle royale, then you're going to know every participant before you get to Bound for Glory. So any surprises, it takes the
Yeah, but you're not.
surprise and the suspense
You're
away
not, though,
from
bro.
Bound for Glory.
Even if 20 are in there, you're not going to get that because we already know that Rich Swann, for instance, is going to be in there. Who's not in that battle royale?
Oh no, but I'm talking about any like people who may show up that aren't in the company, kind of thing. You're saying these are the 20 who are in the company, and also, like you say, they are different matches, but they are cut from the same cloth. It's like having a ladder match to lead up to a King of the Mountain match. Yes, they're slightly different, but they're still cut from the same cloth, kind of thing. And you're kind of watching it to a degree free, and then asking us to pay sort of $20 or whatever we pay here in the UK, kind of for a pay-per-view to watch it, kind of thing. It's very, very sort of it's a little sneak to sort of try and get round the corner.
It's a sneak peek, isn't it? It's giving you. What it's doing is giving you a taster of what to expect at Bound for Glory. That's the thing. It's giving you a taster. It's not giving you it's not giving you the match. It's giving you a taster. And I'm telling you now, even if there's 20 in this over the top battle royale, right? All 20 of those people are not going to be in the gauntlet match.
Well, let's say I hope not.
I've just given you an example. Rich Swann isn't in that match. Isn't going to be in that battle royale. For a start, there's one.
One thing I can guarantee, I'm pretty sure it's going to come down between Moose and Morrissey of the last two in this match. And then one of them's going to come in first, one of them's going to come in last at Bound for Glory. And then we'll get them to
you've got
head-to-head at Bound for Glory as well.
We also know that Eddie Edwards is going to be in this. I think, like you say, you've got W. Morrissey, you've got Eddie Edwards, Moose is going to be in there. There's going to be some big names in this battle royale. That's for sure. But I also think that you're going to get like the 3 guys from the learning tree in there, that sort of stuff as well. So
I'll tell you what, it would be great for someone like Sam Beale to win it. Just get the number 20 entrant.
Could you imagine that? Could you imagine it? I think it's more likely he would come second and end up going on first. But there you go.
If he wins, Brian Myers will lose his shit. That'd be awesome.
Oh my god! Can you imagine if Sam Beale eliminated Brian? That would be fun.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah, could you imagine if it came down to Sam Beale, Brian Myers, and Brian Myers gets eliminated by Sam Beale? So Myers goes in first, and Sam goes in last. I mean, Jesus Christ!
Myers done the same thing to Beale in the last gauntlet.
Exactly. So that would be cool. At the end of that, you'd be like, "Yes, that's awesome." You know what I mean? So I don't know. Let's wait and see. Let's see how it all pans out. I think it's going to be a very interesting match.
I don't know whether to say congratulations or I'm sorry.
I would say I'm sorry, but I think it's going to be a fantastic match either way. And I'm looking forward to all the matches for tomorrow night. and then obviously leading into BFG in a couple of weeks' time. Now, please don't forget to head over to the TNI Patreon for exclusive extra content when you sign up. And also make sure you watch tomorrow night's TNI flagship Impact Live review directly after the show, as aired on Twitch and YouTube. I believe it was announced yesterday, but the special guest is going to be Jamie Senegal. So make sure that you tune in for that one. Also, all TNI shows are available for all you listen on the go fans as audio only via SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, and wherever you listen to your favorite shows. Where can we find you on those socials, Joe?
You can follow me on Twitter at Joe-ker. You can jump onto Facebook, look for hashtag empty space, look for hashtag the void, or if you fancy to tickle your taste buds in a daily dose of dark humor, look for the Daily Giggle and step in with an open mind, and you might just keep your sanity.
Where can we find you, Stevie boy?
You can find me over on Twitter at simplysteve311, or you can find me over on WrestleBuddy.com under the Impact Wrestling banner, where I put a new Impact Wrestling article normally every Thursday.
You could also find Joe over at WrestleBuddy as well. But anyway, I think you should change your Twitter handle now to Simply Beef. I think Simply Beefalo Steve, Simply Beef Steve. I don't know. I'm sure we can come up with something.
I'll get copyrighted, won't I, by you?
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah, we don't want none of that.
No, if you get a Bison lick first.
Yeah, exactly. You definitely need a Bison lick. Anyway, if you're interested in following the Bison, you'll find me on Twitter at Lord Bison 45, where I do all of my wrestling talk and sharing stuff around. Anything I find out, I put out as best I can. As I said, make sure you do. I'm fastly approaching 1,500 follows. Come on, guys, help me get there. Let me get there. It'd be amazing.
We might have to get ourselves tested after this.
If you haven't followed the Bison yet, or you have followed the Bison and you wanna get other people help me get those follows, then tell all your friends and family to follow the Bison. That's how you do it. And of course, follow Simply Beefalo Steve, and of course Joe-ker as well. Empty Space, Daily Giggle. If you want all of that, I think he cheered up somebody earlier on today, which I was pleased to see.
Yeah. Fuck depression.
Exactly. Fuck it. Please take the time to help us out moving up the rankings on YouTube by giving us a thumbs up. And if you're new to us and you like what you've seen, then click subscribe, and don't forget to give that bell a tickle, a squeeze, or even a smash to never miss any of the TNI-UK and US teams' great content each and every single week. Big thank you today to Big thank you to today's guest, Charles Crowley, for joining us tonight. Absolutely fantastic guest. Remember to check him out at Crowley Carnival on Twitter. You will not regret it.
Check out his Facebook page, guys.
Check out his Facebook page. Yeah, his Facebook page is great as well. Make sure you check out Charles. He's a great guy, up and coming prospect. Really lovely fella. And also, like I said, check out his appearance on Come Dine With Me on YouTube. It is hilarious. Anyway, with all that said, a big cough. I have been Bison. They have been the Joe-ker and Simply Steve. And this has been episode 52 of Impacted. Take care, everyone.
We're Bison! We are Impacted! We're Bison! We're ready to get up. We want to win. Light the fire of power that make us free. We never break down. We want to win. We are Impacted, the best team.
It's been a bang-orama.